All righty, why don't we get started? Thanks again, everyone, for joining. This is Chris Benedict from BitMobile. Thank you for taking some time out of your day, your evening today to talk about, to listen in on our discussion with Reality Network. We have a couple of great guests today. We have Brian O'Byrne and Wyatt, both from, did we lose Brian? Nope, there he is. Both from Reality, so it should be a great discussion. What I'd ask is that anybody in the audience think about questions you may have as we go through the AMA, because we're going to leave plenty of time at the end for you to jump in and ask questions about both projects, how we're working together, and what the future looks like. So I will pause there. I think I've introduced myself already. I'm going to throw the mic over to Brian O'Byrne and to Wyatt and let them say a quick intro. Any opening comments they'd like to make, then we'll go to Brian Ma and we'll get started. So Wyatt, Brian, please jump in. Any welcoming comments, any opening comments?
Thanks, Chris. I guess I'll start. Yeah, we're delighted to be here. We have a long-standing partnership. We are really excited about BitMobile's work in Africa. We think it's going to make a big difference to the continent. And we are excited for the talk today. In terms of my background, I'm COO of Reality. I've been with the company for 2 years now. And I've been to Africa 3 times this year, or twice rather, but to 3 different countries, most recently to Zanzibar in Tanzania and Kenya for the Deepin conference. And yeah, really happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian.
Hey guys,
Mike.
Thank you so much for, sorry. Well, yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I'm Wyatt, I'm CEO of Reality. And yeah, as Brian mentioned, we're doing some stuff in Africa and specifically also with BitMobile, which is really leading the charge, we think, with crypto in Africa. And it's a pleasure to be here and to chat about everything that we have going on. So thanks for having us.
Thanks, Wyatt. Brian Ma, you want to jump in?
Yes, great. Thank you so much. It's great to hear your voices, guys. I have some wonderful pictures of spending time with Bob, as we call him, Brian, in Cape Town, and it's quite a wonderful place to visit and to work. It's like for those of you that have not been there, it's like working in Hawaii. You kind of get there and get off the plane, and it's such a stunning place. It's a beautiful place, and great for getting work done. Great for innovation. They've got a lot of innovative things going on there. So we really enjoy that in South Africa. For those of you that are attending from different countries, we've got people from Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, Zambia. We've got different people we're working with depending on the country. We would just want to say thanks to all you guys for all your hard work. There's a lot happening right now, and I'm sure we'll talk about it hopefully on this call of things going on across the continent. And I just want to take a moment and, as is our tradition, and say thanks to a couple of key people. We have this group, we call them the mega influencers. And they're some of the most incredible people you guys will ever meet. If you have a question, for example, like in the Telegram channel or Discord, their coverage extends to X, formerly Twitter. Just as questions and things come in, they'll address it, or FUD, as it were. Things that are happening out there, they'll jump in. We've got people like Crazy Susie. She's in Australia. What a fantastic lady. Crazy Susie. Nick is in Germany. Nick was just messaging. He's at the office right now, so we may not see him on this event here, but as with many people, if they're working or they're driving or on a train or something, we're covering so many countries and geographies that some people are just in route to someplace and they can't attend. So after the event, they'll click on the link and they'll listen to our words later. So we always get a lot of follow-up and thousands or tens of thousands of people will listen in later, and we really appreciate that, all of you. We have Dagonaut. If you guys know Dagonaut, he's been there quite a while. He also bridges a lot of activity into Constellation. Kismet, what a fantastic guy. US based. Rob, Viv in Thailand, Dagonslayer. And some of them you'll see less often because they have heavy schedules of things they do during their daytimes. But they're always lurking in the background. They're always trying to help, whether it's, helping us set up a business in some of these countries or support the different countries. We really want to say thanks to all of them and to the greater community for all of you guys listening in. Reality is a fantastic partner. To have Wyatt here is fantastic, and Bob, of course, Brian. Wonderful to hear your guys' voices, and look forward to the AMA. Thanks, Chris.
Great. Thanks, gents. Let's get right into it. And Brian O, you gave a little bit of a tease on that when you're doing your intro, but I'm going to go right to you and Wyatt and ask you guys to tell us a little bit about your partnership with BitMobile, your partnership with us from your perspective, and how you see us working together now and in the future in emerging markets. What is the collaboration look like, and where do you think it will grow?
Thanks, Chris. So I would say that mobile is the key way of getting into Africa, right? Mobile banking is the success story of Africa, and our protocol can be hosted on mobile phones. And we view BitMobile as the tip of the spear for getting market penetration and building a sovereign internet for Africa. That's it in a nutshell. The attempts to really have an open source internet in Africa have been hampered by the need for infrastructure and the collective action problem of trying to get all the different countries in Africa to invest in a transnational infrastructure, right? There's many different ideas about how to do that. There's many different regulatory hurdles that have to be overcome. And frankly, it's just never going to happen, right? What we will see and have seen is that you have cloud providers building data centers and trying to monopolize the internet in Africa and to make profit, extract profit from Africa. And we think that that's pretty bad. And we think that there's another way to do it. You build the internet from the ground up. You allow ordinary people to host it on mobile phones, on the Phēnix X, and you allow people to unlock the wealth that is all around them. You foster grassroots entrepreneurship that gives back to Africa rather than extracts wealth from Africa. And that's really the whole point of our partnership with BitMobile. We believe this is where it all begins.
Fantastic. Thanks, Brian. I think that is from the outset, that was certainly one of the places where the overlap was just so obvious, and where the common threads working together is just giving back to Africa. Wyatt, if there's anything you'd like to add there, please do.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we're honestly just really thankful as well to be a part of the Phēnix X launch as well, especially just being a part of like a hardware product, especially in the emerging market space. And, that's also sort of dovetailed some work that we're doing with another project that we'll be sharing a little bit more in the future. But yeah, really just trying to sort of get into the infrastructure directly, like all across Africa. And this was the tip of the spear, was our partnership with BitMobile.
Awesome. I'm going to ask you to dig maybe a little bit more into the nuts and bolts, if you would, Wyatt.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about how Reality has been deployed so far? What's the current status, and any type of results you've seen from early usage in market? What does it look like? What are you actually doing today, and how do you expect that to grow in the future?
Great, thanks. So right now we have over 250 people mining on our test net, which is really cool. And we're just sort of, ramping up our trying to get the word out. So all of this stuff has been really organic, and we're excited to expand that to, literally as many people as possible. As I tell everybody, I'm really looking forward to breaking it. So if you guys want to come break our test net, you guys should just come and run a node and get some tokens and do that. That'll be fun. I really want to see what happens. But in addition to that, we also have several applications that are being built with our SDK and on our testnet. We have 3 right now that are, in the actual production phase, and the one that's honestly the most breathtaking is the one with at Cyber Elite. I think a lot of you guys know about them, but they're a D-pin based anti-cheat mechanism for gamers, and we've been able to create really, I guess, fast and low resource footprinted ZK proofs using something called a ZK Stark, which is a quantum resistant, snark basically ZK proof. And our initial test was below 100 milliseconds, but just from some of the stuff we were going over yesterday, it's several orders of magnitude smaller, specifically actually just in the size of these things. So the rate at which that's growing with people, using this in tournaments, and also just how these different proofs were able to make them even smaller and smaller is really cool, especially because a couple of years ago, some people, bigger names in the space, specifically Vitalik and stuff, said it was never possible to do this, specifically also in a way that has major language and library support. And we proved that wrong, dead to rights, which is really cool. And for anybody out there who's really looking to, literally put Turing complete Web 2.0 code on chain and prove it, it's possible now, and you can do it in a much more resource efficient and actually decentralized way, in a way that smart contracts just will never allow you to do. And in a lot of ways, this was kind of I feel like it was luck. I not really thought it'd get this good, but I'm really excited to be here, and to share that with everybody else. And we'll share some updates from other projects as well as they start to come online. So that's really cool.
That's awesome, Wyatt. Thanks for that. You mentioned that people could help and get on the test net, and get involved.
Seriously,
how would they do that? We'll make sure we post it here in the channel.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so there's a link to our Discord in our Twitter bio, and just hop on in there, and you'll see there's 2 chats for individuals trying to get their nodes set up. So to get started, go into the node setup chat room, and all of our resources are there. So anybody who has Windows or a Mac laptop, we have a native desktop application. So basically you just download this, drag it into your applications folder and open it up. And there's a step-by-step instructions on how to set your node up and get it running. And so you can mine directly on your personal device. There's a very low footprint. It's not going to fry your laptop out. And a very, easy UI to use and get your stuff set up. And we also, you're also able to launch this on Linux in server mode. So basically anybody who's got any kind of server can use the instructions on our Linux server setup on GitHub. And basically follow those instructions, and you can put this directly on your server, start mining on our testnet. And let's get those numbers up and let me know what you guys think.
That's awesome. I'll post it in here when I get a chance in a minute or so. So the last question I'll ask you, then I'll go to Brian to talk a little bit about how the other Brian, how the Phēnix plays here. I know that the node app for the Phēnix for mobile is something that you guys are really focused on. Can you give us an update on that and what the current status is? And that's for Wyatt or Brian O.
Yeah, for sure. We're working on that now. We've done a migration to a newer version of Scala, basically to enable us to have the Reality app on the Phēnix X phone. So we're focused on it. We're aiming to get everything done. The honest truth is like we're like working all the time. So we're all kind of wrecked over here. But we are basically that's going to be ready very soon. And we want to not just provide that, but also basically give people using Portal on the Phēnix X things to do that are valuable to them. The stuff that people can do on the Phēnix X now is fantastic. All the educational materials and all of the crypto features. We want to add more to that. And so we've been very focused on getting some of the first wraps up on testnet beyond Cyberly. We have a few more that are coming very soon. And those will be things that people on the Phēnix X can use and can earn rewards from, right? Real rewards, not the inflationary nonsense in most of crypto. This will be stuff that actually captures value and rewards people for their time and attention.
Great. Thanks, Brian. Brian Ma, let's bring you back into the conversation a little bit. So we've heard the guys talk a little bit about what's going on in Africa and what the node update is. Can you talk a little bit about the Phēnix X itself and how it's been designed to support efforts just like this and to support emerging markets?
Yes, certainly. And that is such a great question. I would like to kind of preface that by just letting the audience know that, what Wyatt has come up with here, this innovation, it's actually so incredible when you think about here we have these modern devices, and the Phēnix X has got the greatest security of any of them. You can take a look at your standard, Xiaomi and Huawei, and it just goes on and on. There's layers of phones out there that have been designed to to saturate the market. And but when you break them all down, they're all almost identical in the way that they're kind of cookie cuttered. And when you get to the Phēnix X, then you realize, wait a second, this thing is just fully based on the blockchain. This thing is so secure. It has such forethought in place to prepare it for the future. And so when you think about something that is as advanced and innovative as what Reality has come up with here, you realize that the Phēnix X platform really dovetails incredibly. It's like, putting your hand in the right size glove. It just fits. If you've ever tried to put your hand in a glove that's too small, you get a hold of like a really small pair of gloves, you try to squeeze your hand in it, and it just won't go in. And this thing that we're talking about here, Reality, this innovation is so incredible because the Phēnix X is designed precisely for this kind of technology. Number one, it protects it. The Phēnix X provides unparalleled security around this type of technology. And especially if you're going to be earning money, if you're going to be managing money on a platform, you want it to be secure. Especially if it's your money and you're going to need that money, you want it to be secure. And you don't want a fraudster to get their hands in there and steal it or somehow take advantage of that. So you know that when you use the Phēnix X device, you're going to be secure. And then when you break it down, if I were to turn to any person in this audience and ask you, tell me exactly what Reality is doing, it would be hard for you to explain it because it's very advanced technology. It's super innovative. And the beauty of the Phēnix X platform is one of its key elements is education. So we see the whole platform as an opportunity to train people, to get them into what we call and it enhance their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And these are key elements because we realize if if an average person can have a greater understanding of the world around them and have greater knowledge, they can improve their life. They can get a greater salary, a better job, a better paying job. They can make better decisions in how their information is stored and maintained, not only for themselves, but for generations that are coming in behind them. And these types of things where passive income can help improve your finances, leveraging this type of technology, the phone is designed to do exactly that. So on the educational side, we see a lot of opportunity to train people how to use reality, to how to interface with it, and then to take the rewards, to take that passive income and do something spectacular with it. And so all across Africa, in each and every country, this is going to be so exciting to watch every single person get involved in this. And we're looking for lots of these types of opportunities on the educational side because we realize the concept of blockchain, for example, or decentralized finance or Web3, decentralized apps, to get that knowledge and information out there takes work, it takes time, it takes energy. With the Phēnix X, we have virtual reality education. So we have two sensors built into the phone, and these are designed specifically to keep track. They call them accelerometers. These are designed specifically to keep track of the location and direction that the phone is going in. So if you're moving the phone left or right or up or down, it knows your location from the tallest mountain, from the ocean floor, from the ground that you're standing on. It knows if you're turning left or right in a very precise way. And with this, you could take, for example, like the Phēnix X and fly a precision drone right to the millicenter spot that it has to sit on. You can actually do very precise things with the device. And this helps in an amazing way, both in the management of IoT devices and with your security and education. So with the education around this, you'll be able to learn more about reality, you'll learn how to use the product, and then take advantage of the passive income that you've earned. So it just offers so many opportunities. So Chris, the beauty of all of that is the phone is designed from the outset to support this incredible innovation like reality has put together.
Thanks, Brian, for such a detailed answer. That is great, and I think the audience appreciates that. So the focus on projects like reality and what they can deliver in the Web3 space is really a strength of the Phēnix X. So what I'd like to ask, we'll stick with you, Brian, for a second, Brian Ma, and then we'll go back to reality. That's funny. Back to reality. What since Web3 is such a big element of the Phēnix X, can you talk a little bit about what we are focused on at BitMobile through the end of the year? There's so many projects that we've been engaged in. So what would you tell the audience is our objective through the end of the year and into the beginning of 2026?
Yeah, this is a great question. Now, typically with these AMA formats, and I think if we follow that same suit, we'll have the opportunity at the end of the call to take questions from the audience, which is something we love to do. Any question you have, we're very welcome of any question. And for those of you that are tracking things that are going on in the ecosystem, there's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of countries. We just put a press release out. I hope you guys have had an opportunity to see it. Maybe Paul or somebody who's supporting this event. Maybe they could post the link to the press release. This is important to point out because when we think about the growth of the ecosystem, you have to wonder, well, what does it take to get the phone into market? You could ask yourself that question someday. Wake up and say, well, what does it take to get the phone in Tanzania? What does it take to get it in Kenya? What's involved in doing that? There is a lot of steps. There's a lot of activities that go on, and it all starts with that CE test in the very beginning, when the phone is first approved for market delivery around the world. And CE is good globally. It's a wonderful test process, and that basically says that, hey, this device passes all of the consumer tests that anybody could ever care about in any country. And so it's very super comprehensive. Just a foot plus printed pages on your desk. Just stack them all up. It's a lot. It's a lot of testing that goes on. And it's quite enormous, but it produces a high quality device. And we go through this kind of process, and then we work with the countries on type approval. So the press release gives you an idea as we close out this year. It gives you an idea of how many countries we've touched already in 2025. And then going into 2026, we would easily wrap up the continent of Africa and be well into Southeast Asia. Because remember, the Phēnix X is designed for each and every person in all of the emerging markets. And so it will reach tens of millions of people. It's on its way very rapidly to do this, to touch the lives of tens of millions of people. It will explode. The type of thing that is happening in Nigeria is just incredible at the moment. So when you take a look at that, Chris, I would say that the expansion and the growth is vitally important. A couple of things that are super exciting related to that are the fact that there's also a Phēnix X tablet and there's a Phēnix X watch. So we have a tablet and a watch which were produced on the heels of the Phēnix X phone, which are now available for importation in many of the countries that you saw on the press release. So we have the phone, we have the tablet, we have the watch. So now you could say, wow, this is really expanding quite rapidly. And a little bit of alpha, I'll say that there is a couple of more exciting announcements on the heels of those three. So just get ready for that. You guys are going to love it. So when we look at working with Reality, we look at working with all of our partners, depending on how they're integrating with these different products, they may run on the phone, they may run on the tablet, they may run on the watch, they may run on all of them. And depending on how the customer purchases the device, they can get the watch bundled with the phone, or the phone bundled with a tablet, or all three together in any combination. And so this opens up a lot of great opportunity for people that, families that have children, and maybe the mom needs a phone, but the child is in, school through matriculation, and they need a tablet. And so now you have the ability to really serve up the market in the way that it needs this technology. So going into the end of the year, we will also have an AMA. So I believe it's next week. I believe our final 2025 AMA is going to be next week, and that's one to catch, because we will actually take what I'm talking about here, Chris. We'll take those comments and we will blow them out in that AMA. And we'll go back, we'll take a look at what happened in 2025. Where did we start? Where did we end up for the year? And give that report to the community. And then we'll set the stage for 2026. And we'll do that with the AMA next week. So if we can get the link, maybe Paul, you could dig up the link for that. Drop that in there so people know how to attend that. Let's get that going, and that'll be an exciting time. But there's so many things, Chris. You could ask me any question on any of these topics, and we could go for an hour. But I would say that, for the current ongoing projects, it's super exciting. Every single one of them, every partner, every aspect of this platform that's building out, and all the great people across Africa that we're working with. Every single day we meet somebody new, 1, 2, 10 people, every single day, hundreds. And thanks to Tabasile for the affiliates channel, this is growing and going to be quite a factor across all these emerging markets. So we're very excited about the affiliates channel. But let's really dig through this, Chris, in the AMA and go through all of these next week.
Thanks for teeing that up, Brian. That should be a really good session for next week. So those of you who can make it, please join. And if you can't make it live, we'll certainly make sure it's recorded and you can listen in after the fact. That should be a really good one. So thanks again, Brian. All right, let me get back to reality, as I said earlier. And guys, you got a chance to talk about your testnet, things you're doing in Africa. So let me ask you the same question, if I may. Is there anything that you want the folks listening in to know about what you're doing between now and the end of the year? What are your objectives to really get things booked before the first of the year? And what are the things that you really want to get out there that you may not have touched on yet, or you'd like to expand on? So what are the things that are really important over the next quarter or so?
Thanks, Chris. I'll jump in. I think a really important thing is for people to join testnet. We have not pushed this. We've kept things organic. Crypto is so spammy in general, and it's filled with nonsense. And, it kind of almost doesn't make sense to go too ham with the marketing until we have something to show. So we've actually kept it pretty organic. But I think that people, therefore, don't understand the opportunity that running a node represents, right? Like this is coming. This is, in my view, I've been a blockchain researcher for 10 years. I was the head of research for a blockchain investment fund in London. I've been involved in the space for a very long time. I will say this much, that none of the existing projects are designed properly, right? None of them are going to work. A lot of them have problems with the tech and scalability and tokenomics. And the problem is with a blockchain, it's immutable. So when you launch it and the design is wrong, you cannot undo it. You can't unscramble the egg. The reason I work for Reality is because I know that this is how you do it. Wyatt has designed it properly in a way that will work. So amidst all the noise of all of these marketers and all of these airdrops and spam, we haven't really bothered to explain that to the degree that people understand what this is. It is the one that will work, right? This is the network that is going to do it. You should go run a node, even if you don't fully believe me. It doesn't matter. Just go run a node. It's quite easy to do. You can start earning rewards. You can stay privy to everything that's happening in our community. And you will see over the next few months that we have something very serious here. In terms of the stuff to keep an eye out for beyond just participating in testnet, I will say we have been working so hard to complete some wraps. We're helping the first few wraps get set up on testnet. These are wraps that aren't just like token toy applications. They're applications that are actually going to be profitable, in my view. It's too early to say that, but again, I'm just speaking from like what I know. In my judgment, a lot of these companies, some of them are already earning revenue. I don't want to identify them in case they'd rather not share that, but we have revenue generating companies on testnet. They're all doing something interesting, and there's many more that are about to launch. So I would say if you're listening to this and you're, wondering whether to get involved, you should take the plunge. It's very easy. There's a lot of exciting stuff in the near term that's going to be disclosed. And, there's a nice community as well. We've got a really great group of people. The community is very active, very helpful. So please do jump in.
Yeah, there's one quick thing I'll just throw in there too. I'm just gonna just do it. So like we've been working on like a DEX or like an exchange for years at this point. Under basic. Long story short is that it's done, and we're gonna be releasing that on our testnet pretty soon, and people can try that out. And it's really gonna be kind of like probably the biggest value capture I think in crypto history, because 99% of all of the value in crypto is trapped up in exchanges. Most people don't really know this, but every centralized exchanges gets information about the order book before you do, and they use it to trade against you and manipulate prices. And also, like, pretty much every system in DeFi at this point, indexes in general, whether it's AMMs, bridges, et cetera, are just like horrifically full of like bugs and security issues, and also honestly just like issues with like price slippage and stuff. So we have this new approach which allows people to like directly move information between ledgers using OTC matching. So there's no like intermediary like problem, or like one, people can't have their funds stolen. Two, there's no like potential security risks because everything is orchestrated by consensus itself. So if there ever is a bug, it's like Ethereum or Bitcoin's problem, not any kind of like implementation issue. And yeah, you'll be able to do all of this directly from the Reality portal. So like any token that it gets integrated with our DEX, you can hold and manage your tokens through there, kind of like a MetaMask or any kind of like wallet. You can trade them directly, and you can do literally everything that you want in crypto from just this one place. So it's it. And it's honestly like all of the stuff that we've done. This is the last big thing that I think is fundamentally just wrong with this space. And man, I don't know. I mean, like, if it doesn't take off, I don't know what the hell we're gonna do in crypto. It's just everything going on. But this is like a fully buttoned up thing that allows everybody to do everything that they want in one place, in a way that's actually like maybe even arguably more secure than the TradFi systems out there. So get stoked, and we're also, I mean, I don't know if something changes or somebody like makes this a really sick deal, but like we're not listing on any other exchanges. We're just doing it all through our own. So we rolled our own fucking thing. We're trading it all on our own network. Everything we did in house, and nobody's ever done that. So don't be late. Don't buy the top. Mind the bottom. Thank you.
Thank you, Wyatt. Thanks, guys. That sounds really exciting, and I think we can do an hour on that alone. So maybe we do a follow up, or if you guys plan to do an AMA or something around that, we're happy to participate or promote it and get people to listen in on that one, because that sounds super exciting. So thanks for sharing that. Now, before I have one simple question here, the last one that I have on my list. But before I ask it, anybody who's in the audience, start thinking about questions that you want to ask. I've set aside more time this time so that we can get questions in. I find that we tend to be so descriptive in these that we often don't leave a lot of time for you, the community, to get in and ask some directed questions. So if you have some, think about it, raise your hand when you're ready. And as soon as we're done wrapping on this next question, we'll get you up here to ask your question directly. So think about that and jump on in. Okay, the last one is actually a really simple one, but it's for the folks online. I'll start with Brian Ma, and then I'll go back to the other Brian. Talk a little bit about someone in the audience here, someone who with the Phēnix X, and they want to get involved with Reality when they're on the device. What does that look like? What kind of expertise do they need, if any, or how will we help them get engaged with the Reality Network through the Phēnix X?
Okay, Chris, you wanted me to go first?
Yeah, you go first, Brian, please.
Okay. Well, this is an insightful question, because if we think about the Phēnix X platform, we always fall back to that acronym RISE. You rise up in the morning, and that stands for Rewards, Integrated Content, which is Reality, Security, and Education. RISE. So I would say, Chris, this falls squarely in the E, education side of it, and would definitely cover the R, right? Once you get educated, then you get the rewards. Um, what we recommend, and if you take a look at the educational aspect of the Phēnix X, we have this virtual reality education. And that's just not to be confused with reality, the partner. Virtual reality education, that's really using these accelerometers. It's all hands-on based education. So as you guys will know from some of our earlier conversations, we have a partnership with HVAC-R EDU. That's the largest heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration educational company in the world. They have the most students, they have the greatest reach, and quite frankly, their people are some of the best. They're licensed, they're certified, they win awards. You know, they've got some incredible education. So we boiled that down into a series of modules on the Phēnix X. So if you're into that field, which is a good paying field, by the way, if you're into that kind of work, you can take these modules and start to learn. And then you'll have to finish the programs, of course, by signing up for the ones that you really like. There are different aspects in the field itself. But that's one example. There's also solar. We have solar on there, and Web3. We've got a Web3 module or two on there now that are super exciting, and that will teach you about Web3. I would say part of the answer here, Chris, is to get education in place, working with Wyatt, working with Bob, Brian, getting the education in place for the casual new user that comes along. And if they haven't been exposed to the blockchain or to token management, you know, the cryptocurrency, we would actually help them through an educational series, a couple of half-hour courses or maybe a couple of weeks of courses, depending on their level of knowledge, and just introduce them to what it is and how it can change their life. And just keep in mind, there's so many people across Africa who have been denied access to the current banking system that many of us use every day. They may have an account at a bank, quite frankly, they probably do, many of them, but in the end, the services that the bank offers, the loans and the the management of assets and things like that, these are services that are not available, and they may never be available. And so, the one thing that makes all of this actually work for every person in every country is decentralized finance, is the blockchain. The one thing that levels the playing field, that makes it right for every person, is a system that doesn't force you down a certain path. It's open to everybody. That's the beauty of the blockchain. So what Wyatt has built here is super sophisticated, and many of us may never know exactly how it works, but we know it works. And so what we do is we educate people on how to use it, on what it is, how to use it, and then take advantage of what they get from using it. And I think if we focus on this education and draw people into the blockchain and tokens and the world of decentralized finance, not only have we done a good service, but we've extended their ability to operate in life. Now you've given them another way to use banking features that's wide open. There's no restriction when we come in and we use it like this. And in this environment, it's actually more secure than what they're currently having to deal with. So this is an exciting thing. And I think, Chris, that's where we focus. We focus on that education, and we find ways. We need to work with Wyatt. We need to work with Brian here and come up with those educational modules and make sure that we plug them in properly on the Phēnix X. And this is depending on if they buy a phone, they buy a tablet, or they connect up the watch. The watch is a fantastic product, by the way. They connect that up uh, into their mix of devices, we will make sure that that education covers across their platform or whatever they own, and that they'll be able to access this technology. And in this way, I think we really offer a great service. We offer a platform where people can use the devices, the most advanced devices on earth, and now we have a way to help on the financial side, on the management of money, and the ability to make more money and increase the wealth. This is a great way to do it. So that's a great question, Chris. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Brian O., any comments that you'd like to add to that regarding onboarding and getting people ready to use the Reality solution? I know you talked a little bit about it already, ReTestNet, but what does that onboarding look like? And is it easy enough for the average person who doesn't know a lot about Web3?
Yes, it's very easy. It's much easier than any other blockchain project, or where you have to know a bit about like the back end. With us, you just download the portal application and the UI will guide you through it. It's very, very simple compared to any other project. It's also going to be getting even simpler over time. We're working right now on a solution to make the Phēnix X capable of mining like over LTE. We have a POC for that because thus far we've been constrained to doing it when when the phone is connected to wireless. But we want people to be able to basically use it wherever they are. So we have something in the works for that. But in general, it should be pretty straightforward. This is like Web 2 applications in a Web 3 context. So you won't have you won't have it nearly as much as a cumbersome aspect to onboarding and using the applications. It's going to feel very familiar.
Thanks, Brian. Okay, back to the community now. I'm looking to see if there's any questions. Folks, if you have questions here for this team, Reality always has their head down getting things done. And while we have access to them, we don't get a chance to bring them to you that often. So if you have questions for them, please jump in now. And I will leave it open while I'm waiting for someone to jump in with a question. I'll leave it open for the panel. Brian O., Brian, Wyatt, any comments you'd like to add while we wait for questions?
Yeah, certainly. One thing I would throw in there is we have one of the guys that we were working with in Nigeria. He's just actually coming back to the United States, Dr. David in Oregon. I'm not sure if he can still hear us. He was en route on the trip. And it was really great to meet him and start working with him. And this is what we find across each of the different countries in just creating all these new relationships and meeting people. And many of you listening in and bringing your friends and sending this link to others to listen to later. We really appreciate that. Getting the word out in particular is so important, and making sure that it's visible that these products are in the market and that they're available. It's very, very important to be able to do this, to share this with your friends, your colleagues, and get this out in the wider world so everybody sees it. Then they've got an opportunity to engage it. And we will be doing actually a lot of exciting things in 2026. We're going to have a Code Fest. You like that word? A Code Fest in Cape Town. We're trying to narrow down the date for this, but it's likely within the first quarter is really kind of what we're shooting for in Cape Town in 2026. And when I say that word Code Fest, just think of a bunch of like highly charged developers, really smart people from all over the world, a lot from Africa and different countries that are vying for prizes. They're trying to build the next set of technology on top of what we've already created. So in many cases, we could hand them software development kits, APIs, and ideas. We can throw out some ideas to kind of get the flow moving. And then they basically take these ideas or concepts toss them around a little bit, do some whiteboarding, and come up with better ideas and even new ideas beyond what we could even think of. And then all of a sudden you have brand new technology that is super innovative being built on or in parallel to what we're already doing. And this opens up new markets. It creates opportunities for everybody. So we're super excited about that. I am certain between Wyatt and Brian, we'll work with those guys as well on this, get them looped into it. It's an exciting way to extend our technologies and open it up at the developer level across the continent of Africa and in other countries around the world. So Chris, that should be a lot of fun and something to look forward to.
Thanks, Brian. I have to say I'm shocked. I don't see any hands up, no questions at the moment. That means we must have done a good job. We'll give that just another moment or two, and then we'll get into closing comments. So I will ask Brian O. and Wyatt if they have anything they'd like to add before we close.
Yeah, just on the coding aspect, that sounds really exciting. The coding camp you're doing with Reality, you can code in any language that compiles to WASM, right? So
Oh,
we don't
great.
have we don't have a bespoke coding language like Solidity. You just need to know, one of the typical languages, and you can make it work for Reality. So that's kind of touching on the Web 2 aspect, right? We enable full stack Web 2 applications in a Web 3 context, and you can build in your preferred language, provided that it compiles to WASM.
And literally, like every major one does. Like you literally like compile your language to like whatever machine instruction set it is, right? So like you have, if you're Java, like a jar. If you have like C or something, you have like, like an actual thing of bytecode or whatever. If it's Python, you have like some interpreted whatever. The bottom line here is there's an instruction for every single language, which you have like a compiled or like, assembled unit of thing. You can just transpile it into WASM, just follow the steps, and then you just put it on a node the same way that you'd put, that compiled thing for your existing language on like GCP or like AWS. It's literally the same thing. You don't need to learn anything new. You just Google it. I'm sure AI can do it for you in 2 seconds. So honestly, like anybody out there, just do it right now. Like if you have something, go get our SDK. Hop into Discord, and then just put it on your machines. You can make your own cloud computing network on your phone, your laptops, your buddy's laptop right away, and you can host stuff for free. You don't have to pay any of these people anymore. It's totally over. We win.
That's fantastic. A lot of people, when I listen to Wyatt speak, it gets me excited because, we work with technology people in many countries every day around the world and building out the Phēnix X platform. And I would imagine, because we have a lot of people from Africa on this call, that they would not have known so much about Wyatt, who Wyatt is. And let me just say, Wyatt is like, it'd be like running into like an Abraham Lincoln or something, somebody really famous. He's got such a history in technology and innovation and has done such incredible things, is widely known in various circles on the web. And when Chris says, it's not always, we don't always have like Wyatt at an AMA, because he's off designing these incredible things and building out Reality. And it's just amazing, Wyatt, your background and what you've been able to do. It's really quite impressive.
You're way too sweet, thank you. But it honestly is a team effort, and if it wasn't for like you guys, like I'd just sort of be in a basement somewhere. So thanks for being a part of the whole revolution, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I love the rebel attitude. That's what I love the most. So thanks, Wyatt.
Parodying myself. Thank you.
All right, community. This is going to be your last chance if you want to jump in. Doesn't look like we have anyone at the moment. Okay. So any other closing comments? Reality, you guys go first, then I'll go to Brian Ma and we'll close it up. Any closing comments?
Just to anyone who's listening, come get involved. Join the Discord. Just run a node to start. It's very easy. and then see if you like what you see. If you have something you want to build and you don't want to be gouged by cloud providers, then come build it with us. Particularly if you're in Africa, that's where we're most interested in. But it is open to everyone.
Come print some money.
Thanks, Wyatt. Thanks, Brian. Brian Ma, you get the final word.
Yeah, thanks so much. I just wanted to tell Wyatt and Brian, thank you guys so much. You guys do a fantastic job. We're really, really excited to have you here and to share the future together. We'll have our final AMA next week and look forward to planning a bunch of these with you guys next year. And the audiences, for example, for the Code Fest, that's going to be so fun. We'll have lots of partners there, lots of people, and there will be incredible things to do. That'll be in Cape Town, which is a great city. We'll have lots of fun there. There's a lot of innovation going on there, and what you guys are doing just is perfect for that place. And all around Africa and all these different countries that are vying to get in the middle of this, what a perfect time to be able to do it. So I just want to say thank you to the community. There's so much happening. We'll tie it all up in the AMA next week and talk about everything that happened this year and all the stuff that's going to happen next year, and get a couple more people up to say a few things from the team. And I just want to say, Wyatt, Brian, thank you guys so much. We're so appreciative. Everything you guys do, and look forward to a wonderful time together in the future.
Thanks so much for having us, Brian. We feel the same way. Thank you, Chris. Looking forward to everything that's ahead.
Likewise. Thanks, guys. It's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you.
That's really great, guys. Thank you all. Thank you, panel, for joining us. Folks in the audience, thank you for giving us your time. Reality Network and BitMobile together, we're going to change the face of payments and education in emerging markets. So thanks for joining us. Stay tuned, and lots of great stuff to come in the coming year. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next week at our year-end wrap-up. Thanks for coming.